get a little bit lonely when you're never coming round.
Okay, so I'm here with Bonnie Tyler, who is the legendary singer behind such hits as, I believe, what was it, Vernal Equinox of the Mind?
Total Eclipse
Holding
of the
for a
Heart.
supervillain, I think? I don't know. But Bonnie, how are you doing?
I'm fine, yeah. Holding out for a hero. It's a heartache.
Really?
A total eclipse.
I could have
of the heart.
sworn there was this great song that you sang called Vernal Equinox. Well, anyway, I wanted to actually talk to you before we get into sort of songs that you're known for, about
Right.
songs that you're not known for, and albums that you're not known for a change.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you about your last studio album, Wings.
Yeah.
This was interesting because you co-wrote most of the tracks on that particular album.
Yeah, it was the first
And-
time.
Yeah, and I was curious about this because you didn't do a lot of songwriting before
No.
that particular album, and I'm wondering what compelled the change to actually composing a lot of these tunes. Did this come from being in the recording industry? Because it was known, if you were a singer in the 60s,
Yeah.
that, oh, well, I'm supposed to just go ahead and sing, and we'll let somebody else write the lyrics until the
Yeah.
Beatles, of course, changed all that. But what provoked this particular...
Well, to be honest, it was because I broke up with my manager over 21 years.
Really?
After 21 years. And he never really gave me the confidence in my songwriting.
Yeah.
I'm not that great a songwriter, to be honest. I mean, I co-wrote with people who, and I don't do the music part. I just help out with the lyrics, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of, but I did a little of it before. I had some B-sides in the days of B-sides. But no, I sort of gathered a new confidence after I left him, and I had a number one record for 12 weeks in France.
Yeah.
Of course, it wasn't one I wrote, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, the album was very successful. It went gold, you know.
Did your manager say, no, Bonnie, you can't write? I mean, what was the
No.
deal? I mean, was it a sort of understanding
No,
between
he
you two?
always wanted me to. He did want me to write, but he wanted me to write with, famous writers, and I was just like very nervous about doing that, and I didn't have the confidence to work with people like that, and so when I went to France and I got together with this girl Karine, and Paul and Karen.
Yeah.
I found it really easy to get on with them, and so it was much easier for me to write. I didn't feel, intimidated at all, because I'm quite a shy person, really. I mean, on stage, I'm your new face, but...
Yeah, you're cowering from me at this moment. Well, I mean, this idea of, you say you're not much of a songwriter, but then you have this extraordinary voice, I think. And I would think, I guess what I'm asking, what is the ratio between the actual quality of the writing of the song versus your performance of the particular song? I mean, doesn't it essentially matter? It's kind of like a question I sometimes ask for cartoonists, where they constantly say to me, oh, well, I wasn't much of a writer and I wasn't much of a drawer, but together, the two come together. I mean, so I'm wondering if you writing songs matters nearly as much as your manager suggested that it did.
No, not really. I've been blessed with having songs sent to me from the top writers in the country, all over the world, like Jim Steinman. I mean, I can't compare to somebody like Steinman. And when he offered me Total Eclipse of the Heart, I mean, I just cried when I read the lyrics. It was just absolutely amazing when he played it. And Rory Dodd, who sings the turnarounds on there, he sang it by the piano while Jim was playing, and I was just like, oh my God, this song is for me. I know when a song really hits me, because it like does something to the back, the hair on the back of your neck. But
it has to do that every time for you in order to meet your level of expectations. Then the back of the neck, your hairs have to stand out, basically.
Yes, most of the songs that I've had that are big hit records have had that effect. Yeah.
Well, I mean, is Steinman really the standard by which you measure all potential song contributions? Well, it's quite a standard to live up to. I mean, have you rejected a lot of songwriters who said, "Hey, Bonnie, I have got the greatest song for you, and you have to sing it"? And you said, "Well, no, it's not quite my cup of tea."
Well, yes, I have said no to many, many songs.
Anybody notable? Or
yeah, Steinman himself.
Really?
Yeah.
Which Steinman song was that?
There was one called... I thought the lyrics were too risque for me, I think it was something about sin. I don't like singing about things like that, or the devil, or things like that. I'm not interested,
Why is that?
Well, well, I believe in God, and I don't want to, give the impression that I don't,
Yeah.
Anyway, you're getting me all nervous, you are. I have turned down quite a few of Jim's songs, yeah, but, everybody sends me songs, and, not just because they're a noted songwriter, it doesn't mean that every song they write is a perfect song, And I have done songs by Desmond Child as well, and had songs of him that I didn't, not all the songs I liked, turned down. But I picked the ones that I really thought, were good. And we did have a very successful album, me and Desmond Child, with... what album was that now?
I listened to like 10 of your albums, so I'm just as equally.
Oh, God, I can't believe I can't remember the name of it. Because in America it was called Notes from America.
Yeah.
But they changed it then for the UK, To Hide Your Heart.
That's right.
And the title track was a song written by Paul Stanley from Kiss.
Yeah.
And Desmond,
Huh. Going back to Wings, I actually wanted to talk about Crying in Berlin.
Yeah.
This song, of all of the songs that I've listened to of yours, sounds the most like a James Bond song. And I do know that at least the Hindustan Times reported in 2006 that the only thing that could actually break your retirement was recording a James Bond theme of some sort. I'm wondering if you've considered actually approaching the Bond producers to sing a song just as the same way as you actually called up and contacted Steinman and said, hey, I want you to go ahead and produce this particular album.
It just happened. They asked me, would I like to do a song?
Yeah.
And they sent me the song, Never Say Never. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And I listened to it and I thought, oh, shit. I don't like it.
Yeah. It is one of the weakest of all the Bond themes.
I really would die to do a James Bond song, you know. But I couldn't do it, My heart wouldn't have been in it, and I had to turn it down. I mean, how many people turn down a Bond song? I don't know, but I turned it down because I didn't like it. And I was proved right, because I think out of all the songs, I can't even remember
Never Say Never Again. Yeah, I know.
I don't remember. It didn't appeal to me at all, so I turned it down. And that's the only regret that I have. But it wasn't
actually an official Bond movie, technically speaking, because it was actually produced outside the Broccoli camp. So I think you're on safe ground, actually. But
it was in the Bond movie.
It was a Bond movie, but it wasn't an official under the Albert Broccoli camp, because that was a Sean Connery once-over, because it was also Thunderball revisited with that.
Whatever. I got offered one and I turned it down.
Did you consider reapproaching them and saying, hey, I would love to do a James Bond song, but this one doesn't cut it. Can I bring in one of these many songwriters who are sending me songs? Did you try that?
No, I didn't. But you just given me a good idea.
I also wanted to ask you about Heartstrings, your 2003 album.
I loved making that album.
Yeah, and I'm quite fond of it too. It's composed entirely of cover songs that you did with the Prague Philharmonic.
Yeah.
But one thing that strikes me about that particular album is that many of the songs you did came from major male recording artists.
Yes,
I mean,
enough,
R.E.M., Bruce Springsteen, U2, Tom Petty, Lennon McCartney. Yeah. And I know this idea came from EMI, but part of me listening to this was saying, well, I'm wondering if she's trying to level the gender divide, because taking the power a little bit away from all these, obviously you've been compared to Rod Stewart throughout your career, but I mean, I was wondering if for this particular album, this was an effort to sort of say, okay, guess what? I can do it just as well as you.
No, it was nothing to do with the gender thing, but I tell you, it was EMI's idea that I put 13 tracks together, but they didn't choose the tracks. I chose the tracks. The idea of doing an album full of rock classics was their idea, with the Prague Philharmonic Orchestra plus my band. And, that really appealed to me. And it was great to do these songs. But, I think probably the reason why I didn't cover any songs, big favourite songs of myself, didn't cover any of the biggest favourite songs that were done by females, were because they were like songs that were recorded by Tina Turner, Janis Joplin, and to be honest, I couldn't top that, But to do men's songs, it was a complete difference. So I felt easier about doing that than virtually saying, oh, look, listen to me, I could do better than Tina Turner or Janis Joplin. It just wasn't on,